Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Having some coup. I guess I should talk because this will be recorded, I think, and put up on the channel. So, hello and welcome to everybody that's watching this later. We're attempting to do a live stream of, maybe it just went live. Uh, the Sumo Summary Show for day 14. Oh, we do have some people in here. Hey, Jason. Hey, Kyle. GR Sumo's here. Let me just put a little chat here. Welcome all. So I already got a like. What more can you ask for in life? Mr. Rubenstein, hello. Can confirm you're live, Ian. Excellentante. Wow, 13 people all of a sudden. So people are ready to go and talk about sumo. That makes me happy. Hey, Jace. Hey, Ned. Good to see you. Hopefully, here on YouTube, if you're a channel member, I think you get a special little thing next to your name. So I'll know that you're a channel member. Maybe not. I haven't quite figured that all out yet. But anyone can join. So any and all, please come along. If we do this again, obviously, if you're watching this, hours later, days later, Sumo, says Kyle. And what was the thing I was going to say? I don't often edit my videos, so I often don't pause this long. Ned says you're wearing the same shirt. Seriously, Ned? That's awesome if you are. Zen Wakaranai. That's me about this show. I do not understand at all. Okay, well, we'll jump into it. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I realized that doing this live on YouTube is great because it's all very easy. You just click a few things and it gets going, and everybody can see the chat and it goes out on the channel. But I don't think, let me double check, but I don't think I can share my screen like I can on Zoom. When I record the Sumo show, I use Zoom, and then it makes a recording of it, and so I can easily share my screen and we can look at the Banzuke and whatnot. So I don't think I can do that here. Shane, yeah, so Shane has a little icon next to his name. So Shane, I assume that means you're a channel member. Thank you very much. Let me see. Pop out dashboard, channel level settings, send feedback. Oh, share screen. Oh, it does say that. Now that could be share screen with another human. So I'll click that in a moment after we get a few more people in and see what happens. Mark, no, Mara. Sorry, not Mark. Mara, I know you, Mara. How are you tonight, my darling? Hi from Brooklyn, New York. Hello back from Honshu, Japan. The Olympics started. Are you guys watching the Olympics? I tried to watch for about a half an hour today. Actually, while I was posting all the videos to Patreon, it was live at that point because we're about 7 hours ahead, I think, of Paris here in Japan. So they were showing something that was going on during the daytime, swimming, I think. And it was live. I know it was swimming. I can know when it's swimming, but I think it was live, as opposed to I caught little pieces of the opening ceremony, but it was all pre-recorded, because I think that happened in the early evening in Paris, and it looked like it was raining really badly. But I just saw barges going down, I assume the River Seine, and they, of course, showed the Japan boat, and then I was like, okay, it's going to be a while before they get to U for United States of America. So I then went to watch other stuff. No Olympics for Mr. Rubenstein. I'm sorry to hear that. I got up early to do my Saturday errands to get here. So far, just the opening ceremony. Yeah. So when I'm in America, I fly on Wednesday. I'll obviously watch most of it in America. And that's actually good for me because the best thing about the Olympics is when, I don't know who's doing it this year, if it's ABC or NBC in America, but, you get all those and let us tell you about the time his mother drove 5 hours to bring him to the hockey rink, and you get all that behind the stuff mush, and it makes you feel like their struggle. And yeah, the Japanese coverage is good, but it's very Japan centric. No, I don't fault them for that, but you don't hear a lot about any other countries and what they're doing. So I've been watching YouTube a little bit. There was a pretty nice piece from Canada Broadcasting, where they were touring the Olympic Village, where I guess they've built all these like apartments and they're going to let people move into them after the Olympics. That sounds like a cool idea. NBC, okay. So they're pretty good at that kind of thing. They've been doing that for years. Hello from Canada, in fact, Tom says. Hello, Tom. And it's good to see you. Okay, so we got about 25 people in here. Hello, everyone. Let's talk sumo. What a day 14. Now, I'm obviously spoilers. So we are going to talk about who won and lost today. Yeah, skateboarding is a thing this year, huh? Is breakdancing a thing this year? I think I saw something like breakdancing preliminaries. I don't know what I was watching. But yeah. Actually, there is a Japanese kid. And I say kid because I think it's a she, and I think she is like 14 years old. And yeah, I'm like, that's crazy, but she's like amazing at skateboarding. So I think she's in the Olympics. Second time for skateboarding. All right. Well, we don't talk about 2020 Olympics. Um, so yeah, we try not to remember what all that happened 4 years ago, and actually 3 years ago, right, when it actually did happen. What a sad Olympics that was. Okay, so what I'm gonna do? Let me hit share screen and see if I can actually do this. Select tab to share, Chrome tab, window, entire screen. Okay, I can. So I got to hit cancel for a second. Open the tab I want to share. So this could be good. All right. So here we go. Let's try to share. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to me. Okay. So I'm assuming you're seeing the official sumo website, and we're trying to get amateur sumo in the Olympic. Okay. So I see. You see me down here. I got it. And now you're seeing that. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm just going to move on here. Now I can't see your chats. That's a bummer. If I move, nah. So I'll just go back and forth a little bit. So let's jump in. Absent Rikshi for today was nobody. So that's good. Nobody had to pull out on day 14. We know about Hoshoru from yesterday. Let's start down in Juryo, and then I'll take a break and go back and look at your comments after Juryo. We'll kind of do it like that. Okay, so down in Juryo, and I had 3 matches from Juryo up on the Patreon page today. And I started with Hakuoho. So he was 9-4, got a win to get double-digit wins. So that's great for him. And he's still in the hunt for the cup. He's at 10-4, or they don't get a cup, but you know what I mean, the championship. He beat Tsurugicho, a much larger human, and it was a good match. That's on the channel. Aoyama doing what he needs to do. He's already got a Makikoshi, but if you want the veteran to stay in the second tier division, he needs probably one more win tomorrow. But even 6-9, I think, would be enough to keep him at Juryo 11. And then really the other 2 matches that were important were these last 2 matches. So Shishi won. He's from Ukraine. He beat Toki Hayate, who at Juryo 1 was going for Kachikoshi but missed out. And Shirokuma also won. So he beat Onokatsu, the other Juryo 1 who already has this Kachikoshi. So they're both 11-3, and Hakuoho is 10-4. So tomorrow, let's see who they're going to be fighting. Day 15. Okay. Aoyama has a Makuuchi man for his final match. That's interesting. Oh, okay. So they're putting Hakuoho up against Shishi. That's interesting. And that's early-ish. I hope I can get that on the channel. Sometimes they don't cut over to coverage of sumo until 3 p.m. And then the other big match has got to be way down here somewhere. The final match of the day. So Toki Hayate needing a win against Shirokuma, who obviously needs to win to maybe win the cup or win the championship. So that's an interesting matchup. So a couple big Juryo matches tomorrow, and we could have a playoff. So I will definitely have both of those matches and any playoff over on Patreon. Okay, let me look. Yes, Ned says yes, breakdancing. Hey. Okay, we're trying to get amateur sumo into the Olympics. Yeah, we've talked about that. We talked about in past streams, we talked about kendo, which is a sport I'm familiar with from when I was at a junior high that was very strong in kendo. And these more subjective sports where the judging isn't more clear cut have a harder time. And I think with sumo, it's not even that. I think the judging is more straightforward in sumo, but it's so dominated by one country, Japan, plus Mongolia, that I think they just don't feel like there's enough international appeal. Even though there's a lot of foreign fans like us who love sumo, there's not enough other countries that would participate, uh, perhaps, to make it a sumo, make it a Olympic sport. I know there are obviously amateur sumo, especially maybe now places like Estonia, Georgia. I know in the United States, there's clubs in different states, but maybe you have to have 10 countries, 20 countries. I don't know how many countries need to actively participate for it to get included. But that's interesting. Okay. Hi. So Tom is confirming that you guys can see when I share. That's great. I didn't know I could do that on here, so that's great. Good morning from Central Texas. Good morning, Steve. How you doing? This is where I get my daily during the bus show. Kyotskete. Kyotskete. Hi. Thank you. I will stay well. Got into the sumo while stationed at Camp Zama back in the 80s, Steve says. All right. Is Camp Zama somewhere in Japan? And I'm just unaware that that's what they call it. Maybe in Okinawa, or where's the other big base? I know there's one in Yamaguchi, but that's Air Force. Anyway, doesn't matter. There's a bunch of bases here, but the big one's down in Okinawa, right? Would 8 and 7 out Toki Hayate into Makuuchi? I believe, Ian, it would. Yeah, because he's a Juryo 1. If he gets his Kachikoshi, he'll probably get promoted up along with Onokatsu. So yeah, that's a big match for him. Make no mistake, tomorrow against Shirokuma. So he's going to bring all of that he has into that match. Because if he loses, he for sure won't go up. You don't get promoted on a 7 and 8, especially up a whole division. So yeah, it's basically a huge pivot one way or the other. So he will be gunning for bear. I feel sumo is more of a religious practice compared to other sports in the Olympics. That's another thing, Ian. That's a good point. There's definitely, yeah, the whole thing where like women are not allowed to touch the dohyo, and that's no joke. I mean, it's really strictly enforced. Um, I don't know how that would go over with volunteers and diversity and officiating and all those kind of things. Um, unless they said, okay, those are the rules in Japan, but here in Olympic sumo, we gotta, change some things. And I don't know. So, and if it was amateur, you wouldn't get to see, Onosato or Midori Fuji or whoever you like compete anyway, because they would be considered professionals, right? So, I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, Zama is southwest of Tokyo. There's like a heart, like an emoji thing. I can't read your comment. Not far from Mount Fuji. Okay. So down in that part of, well, not down, across in that part of Honshu on the Pacific Ocean side. Yeah, that's pretty far from me. I'm over in the Chugoku region. So near my old stomping ground of Shimane, Ken, and don't get to Tokyo a lot, actually. Maybe, well, I can't even say once a year. Probably maybe once every other year I get out to Tokyo. I do want to try to go see some sumo in the Kokugikan sometime soon. Yeah, karate makes it in. I know taekwondo is an Olympic sport. Yeah. Baby Boo, we are not talking about the Teru upset yet. We did Juryo. Okay, just calm your jets. And now we're gonna talk about Makuuchi. Let's just jump into it. So I'm going to share again. So apologies if I don't see your comment right away. I'll come back to it. Okay, so I got to hit share here again, and height. Here we go. Okay, so day 14 today, and the Makuuchi division. So Ichi Yamamoto started off the day with a win to go to 7-7, trying to get his Kachikoshi. Chio Shoma is right now he's 5-9, so he's either going to finish 6-9 or 5-10. Oh boy, 5-10 at Maegashira 15. Definitely he'll get demoted. 6-9 is also iffy, but maybe he'll survive if they need a Maegashira 17. Shodai got a 9th win. Good for him. Midori Fuji got his Kachikoshi over Kageyaki. Tamawashi, yay, evening out at 7-7 against Endo, so he has a chance tomorrow for Kachikoshi. Roga getting his KK there. Koto Shoho getting his Kachikoshi. Bushozan. Bunch of guys getting their KK today. Waka Takakage kind of back down in the first half after being up in the second half yesterday. Got a 10th win, double digits for him. He might get a Fighting Spirit prize if he gets an 11th win tomorrow. He beat Oho. Oshoma having day to day to get his KK until tomorrow, perhaps. Tobizaru, though, getting it today. Ura 5-9, but he did get a win over Nishiki Fuji today. Wakamoto Haru, same thing, 5-9, but a win. Atami Fuji 6-8 at M1, beating Gonoyama today. And then we get into the final few matches of the day. The Komusubi getting his Kachikoshi over Shonan Umi. Hirada Umi maintaining a really good first tournament in Sanyaku at the Komusubi rank with a 9-5. Could go to 10, double-digit wins tomorrow. Beat Mitake Umi, giving him a Makekoshi. Battle of the Sekewake didn't really matter anymore for Kirishima in one sense. But he lost to Abi, who got Kachikoshi. He needs his Kachikoshi if he wants to stay at Sekewake. If he goes 7-8, they'll probably drop him to Komusubi. And then we'd have 3 Sekewake and 3 Komusubi instead of 4-2. Chiranaumi needed this win to stay in the hunt for the cup, but he couldn't best Onosato. The Sekewake went to 9 wins. And for him, I think a lot of you know, he's had a history of double-digit wins ever since he came up to Juryo, 12, 12, 11, when he started Maegashira, 11, and then 12. So this is the first tournament where he might not get double-digit wins, but he can if he wins tomorrow, and we'll see who his opponent is in a moment. Kotozakura in the Ozeki Clash got the win over Takekeisho, and obviously he was already going to be demoted down to Sekewake, so it doesn't really matter for either man. But Kotozakura, of course, we want him to be pumped and ready because he faces Terunofuji tomorrow. And Terunofuji did lose in the final match of the day. Takanosho seems to have his number. And so he did what he had to do, put himself with only 3 losses, 1 behind Terunofuji now. We'll see in a moment who he's going to fight on day 15. And Terunofuji, we know, has the Ozeki tomorrow. So if he wins, it doesn't really matter what Takanosho does. He can still win and have a 13-2 record, and there's nothing Takanosho can do about it. If he loses and Takanosho wins, then we could have a playoff. All right, sharing again for a moment. Catch up on any comments. Oh, your screen shows black. Oh, black screen. Oh, no. That's not good. How long was it black? The whole time I was talking about the Banzage? Oh, no. It did show video, but maybe my screen was black. Okay, well, that's as long as you could see what I was sharing, that's more important than looking at my face. Breakdancing, rock climbing. We can't see your screen. Yeah, I can't see your chats while I'm sharing, unfortunately. Okay. Now, am I back? Okay, you're on screen now, Alex says. All right, so I'm back when I'm not sharing. Couldn't see anything you were sharing, though, Alex says. Oh, no. Okay, well, that's a bummer. Why did it do that? Okay. Well, you could hear the audio though, right? We couldn't see the matches. Okay. All right, let me try this one more time. Let me go back over here. Okay, now I'm looking at the screen on YouTube where I see me, I see what I'm sharing, I see the comments. So somebody leave a comment. Can you see the matches on screen? Now we can. Now it's working. Okay. That was weird. All right. Well, I'm not going to, I'll go quickly. Okay. So it's Yamamoto 7-7. Shodai went to 9-5. Midori Fuji Kachikoshi. Tamawashi now 7-7. Needs one tomorrow. Roga Kachikoshi. Kotoshoho Kachikoshi. Buchozan Kachikoshi. Wakataka Kage now 10-4. Tobizaru Kachikoshi. Daisho Kachikoshi. Hiranumi up to 9 wins, could get a 10th tomorrow. Abi won the Sekewake Clash. Kirishima still needs one. Shiranaumi out of the leader group, beaten by Onosato. Kotozakura going to 9-5. And Terunofuji in the big upset. You can hear me screaming in the video. Losing to Takanosho in a very good victory for the Maegashira 6. He's now 11-3. All right. Let me go back now and see. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it, buddy. So what do I do here? I hit this heart thing. I hit a like. I'm not sure what I do. Hit this maybe. Yay. Okay. Okay, it's working. Good. All right. So that was day 14, right? A lot of KKs today and some important Juryo matches. And of course, the big thing is Terunofuji losing. Now, if I took a poll, can I start a poll? Engage with your audience. Start Q&A. Start a poll. Okay, I'm going to start a poll here. Let's see how many. There's 41 of you. Will Terunofuji win the Yusho? All right, start poll. Let's see how this works. All right. So vote. Do you think he's still going to win it? Now, don't forget, even if he loses, so Takanosho has to win. Even if he loses to Kotozakura in the final match of the day, he then has another chance in a playoff. So he'd have to lose twice tomorrow to lose the whole shooting match. I don't think that's going to happen. But, you never know. Wouldn't mind seeing Takanosho get into a playoff with the Yokozuna. Yeah, I mean, that all the fans want that. That I think, unless you're just a diehard Terunofuji fan, it just makes it so much more exciting. But, the Kotozakura Terunofuji clash is its own little thing, a lot of people are talking about Kotozakura, being the next Yokozuna, etc. Maybe he wants to take a chance while Terunofuji is seen as kind of in his fighting prime. He's not in his prime, but you know what I mean. Like he's actually out there. It's not like you beat him on day 1 of a basho where he then pulled out on day 3. This is Terunofuji fighting. And so maybe he wants to say, hey, look, I beat him when he was wrestling well. So when it's his chance, people can say, because he could retire and we might not have any Yokozuna for a while. And then it's like, well, how do you prove that, other than winning 2 basho back to back, which is what you have to do, but like, how do you show like you're the A-lister, the top of the mountain, right? Yeah, it did look like a Zensho Yusho for quite a while, but I wasn't so sold on that. I figured he'd drop at least 1 or 2. Yeah, Hoshoru's got to be really upset that somebody put a fun message though, I think on the Patreon page, that this happened before with Hoshoru a couple basho ago where he was set to fight Terunofuji and then pulled out of the tournament because he already had 8 wins. So it's like, is he ducking Terunofuji? But I'm sure it's just coincidence. Grimbeard is a diehard Terunofuji fan. All right. Well, I'm assuming then you only want one outcome tomorrow in the Musubi no Ichiban, and that's Teru winning. Let's see. Alex, I don't think he'll have 33 wins at Sanyaku, Onosato. Let's share screen and have a look. All right, so hopefully this will work again. All right, let me double check it. Good, it looks like it's working. Okay, so let's click on Onosato. So he was a Komusubi, and he had 12, and then he'll have 10 at Sekewake, and that's 22. But these 11 down here at Maegashira 5 don't count toward him becoming an Ozeki. He needs one more good tournament at Sekewake, and people were talking about him possibly being promoted to Ozeki, even though those wins were at Maegashira 5, if he won the another Yusho. Because then they're like, come on, dude, he won 2 Yusho back to back. You got to promote him, even though those 11 wins were at M5. But in general, those wins shouldn't count, and they won't, because he hasn't performed well enough this tournament. So yeah. So, but again, he'll have 22. So if he can get 11 or 12 at Sekewake in September, I think he will get promoted. And we'll need. I mean, we're losing 2 Ozeki. We've already lost Kirishima. We know he's not going back, and we could be losing Takakeisho. So there's room for him for sure. Dave, hello from North Carolina. Hello. Yeah, it would have been fun, Ian, for him to get the Zen show a la Hakuho 3 years ago. He did it in Nagoya too. But I think he'll still be very happy if he wins, especially with 13-2 is a fine score. So yeah, I don't have any problem with that. All right. North Carolina. Okay, so let's look at what's happening tomorrow, day 15. So I'm going to share one more time. This will be the last time. Hopefully this will work. And everything kind of flashes, and then I think it's kind of getting in place. So, all right, let me see if it looks like it's working. All right, it looks like it's working. So I'm going to keep going here. All right, day 15. So let's look at some key matchups. Wakatakage really early in the day against a Hokuto Fuji that doesn't matter. Chirana Umi also really early in the day, and I think it'll be where he gets a special prize if he gets an 11th win. So he might need this win against Kageyaki to secure a special prize. You get 8-6 against a 9-5. Doesn't really matter that much. Now we got some Darwin matches. Oshoma versus Ichi Yamamoto. Only one of these guys is going to get his Kachikoshi. And then we got this chunk in here where it's just like, awful records all around. And then, doesn't really matter. Both of these guys have their Kachikoshi. Komusubi Daisho doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's not going to get promoted up to Sekewake. Unfortunately, he's going to have to stay at Komusubi. We already have too many. Oh, no, they've done this. They put Kirishima, who needs this win, to stay at Sekewake up against Tamawashi. That's so mean. They brought him all the way up from Maegashira 9. But they like to do that on the final day. So one of those guys will get his Kachikoshi. I'm kind of hoping it's Kirishima, to be honest. Tamawashi, it won't matter that much. If he's 7-8, he'll go down to Maegashira 10. That's not a big deal. All right, so the interesting matchup here is Takanojo versus Onosato. They might not have ever fought each other before. I'd have to double check. You got Abi versus Tobizaru in a match that doesn't really matter that much. This match absolutely doesn't matter. And then the big match at the final is Teruno Fuji versus Koto Zakura. So Takanosho, if he wins here, he's got to have Koto Zakura beat Teruno Fuji, and then we'll get a playoff. If he loses here, then it doesn't matter what Teruno Fuji does. He can win or lose. He's won the Yusho, basically, right? Because the worst he can do 12-3. And so Takanosho is the only man at 3, right? Okay. So we'll just double check with the leaderboard. So there you see it. These guys are listed, but they're not really in the hunt anymore. And yeah, Hakuoho though is, but he has to have Shirokuma and Shishi both lose. So, and he can give he's fighting Shishi tomorrow, so he can give Shishi a loss, but he's got to have somebody beat Shirokuma to have that be an effective playoff scenario. All right. All right, Steve. See you, man. Yes, this is the last boss show at the Aichi Prefectural Gymnasium. And I shared some pictures on yesterday's Sumo Summary show of me back there in 2015. And then that is the most recent time I've been out to Nagoya. It's just a hard time of year for me in July a lot of times. This year, just the way the days fell in the calendar. This week, I could have gone if I weren't going to America, because I could easily have taken time off work. But it's also just so hot. I think you guys have all seen everybody's fanning themselves. It's just not a fun bus show, I think, as a spectator, because it's just so warm. But yeah, next year it'll be really interesting to get reports about the new arena. Maybe I'll try to go just to check it out. Shane says he hasn't been able to watch any matches this tournament. Thanks for the update. Well, one thing you can do, Shane, is especially if you're not time sensitive, is NHK World put up their highlights, right? It notoriously takes them a long time to get them up, but they do then put them on YouTube almost 24 hours later. Like the day's matches for the top division start at 4 p.m. Japan time, and literally I think the highlights for the previous day go up at like 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Japan time. But for free or easily accessible on YouTube. So you can go there and watch little 25-minute highlight packages, with English. So that's a good way to get caught up. You maybe just watch the last couple days and see, Terunofuji, because he was undefeated for the first 10 or 11 days. And then he finally got a loss, and now he's got a second one. So, yeah. Mr. NDN, good evening. Do you know what Shishi's name means? I'm guessing it's not 4-4. No, the kanji, I think it was in the card set. Ooh, let me look real quick, because I have the card set right here, because I'm probably going to give it away as a prize. And in this card set, they have what does some of the kanji mean, right, in the names. So it's kind of a cool little subset. And I thought Shishi was one of the guys. Yep. I know this is fascinating. There's Shirokuma. Oh, yeah, there it is. So that Shi in his name means dragon. No. Is it No, it's not dragon. It's lion, maybe. Yes, lion. It's like the mythical lion or something. And there's Shirokuma, white bear. So yeah, Shishi. I don't know if it's lion or if it's if it's a combination of different things. Maybe it means 4 lions. I don't know. So yeah, he's the Lion King, Grimbeard. There you go. Okay. Tube Wings is in there. Hi, Tube Wings. So yeah, lion. NHK has the highlights quicker on their webpage as they upload during the weekend. For some reason, they don't upload to YouTube. Yeah, it's weird, huh? I just don't understand why they're not more proactive. If you're going to spend all that money paying Murray and Raja and Ross and Hiro to do, to sit there for 2 hours and do English play-by-play, which is already for a very niche audience, even here in Japan, then they have to sit, I assume sometime after 6 p.m., they edit together the package, and then they have to sit and do a separate voiceover for just those highlights. And they obviously don't do that at midnight. I mean, they probably do it at 8:30, 9 p.m. Like they go off, they have dinner, and they come back, and the editors put it together. But it takes a half an hour, right? It's the duration of the show. If you're going to spend all that money, then get that sucker out there where people can watch it, because it is time sensitive. I watch a lot of Dodger highlights this year to see Shohei Ohtani, and the Dodgers and the MLB have game highlights up, I'd say within an hour, it feels like, of the games ending. Maybe it's just me because, I'm watching it the next day or something, but it feels like it's really quick. All right. Have a little bit more coup. Oh, how many of you guys went and saw it this weekend? Got your Deadpool and Wolverine on. I went and saw it yesterday. Had a lot of fun. Went with my student Vaughn, who was a great kid. He's moving to Canada, so he's not going to be around anymore. Having to move in the summer, which we're still fully in our school year, but they're about to start their new year, so he's going to actually lose a little bit. And he was telling me he's moving to Canada, so one of the requirements for him to graduate from their high school is he has to learn Canadian geography and French. And the poor kid, he's from the Philippines, and so he struggled. He came here in 7th grade, and I've taught him for 5.5 years. And he's struggled to learn Japanese because he doesn't hear it at home. His mother is Filipino, his dad's Filipino, and but he's gotten better at it, and he's obviously surrounded by it all day, and he speaks in Japanese to his classmates. But now he's got to go and learn another new language, so he can graduate from this Canadian high school. But his mom got a job out there. She's a math teacher, so they need teachers, especially math and science, I think. Anyway, so it was fun to go see the movie with him. Some of the other guys were like, yeah, Mr. Harris, we don't really watch Marvel movies. And I was like, yeah, if you don't know really who Wolverine is, you're probably not going to enjoy this movie, because there's going to be a ton of little Easter eggs and cameos that you're just going to have no clue what's going on, and they wouldn't. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it's really for the diehard fans, and I consider myself one of those people. All right. Will Kirishima get his KK? Trivia. But Kazetsumatsu didn't when he was Ozeki Wake. And 2 years later was Ozeki again. Yeah, it really doesn't matter if Kirishima Orlando gets his, if he goes 7 and 8, like I said, I think they'll just drop him to Komusubi. If you start September at Komusubi or Sekewake, it really doesn't matter. The thing that matters is he's not an Ozeki anymore, right? So if he wants to become an Ozeki again, he has to do what Onosato is doing, what all people do when they try to be an Ozeki, and he has to mount the 3 consecutive winning basho with 11, with around 11 wins each basho to get 33-3. He's possibly going to be able to do that. Oh, the poll. End poll. All right, I ended the poll. Show me the results. Oh, there he goes. 93% of you, 45 of you voted, said that Terunofuji will win the Yusho. So I agree with you. I think he'll do it. Yeah. MDK2. He's confirming what I'm saying about the NHK English highlights. If you have, access to their website, I guess it's up, but it's like not up like just for any, like it goes up and you have to watch it. Is that what I understand? Like it's on from say 1:30 to 2 and then it's off and then something else is on. So then you have to wait. But after it's on YouTube, you can just click on it any time. It's very strange the way they do it. Canadian geography, eh? What's the capital of Manitoba, man? I don't. Yeah, it's funny that he's gonna have to learn all that, but he's a smart kid. He'll be fine. Any guesses regarding Takakei? I don't. I was saying today in the videos that obviously Iceman you would only have seen if you're a Patreon member. But I was saying in those videos today that I don't think he's going to retire. In my mind, he's still like 24, but I actually found out he's almost 28. And Koto Zakura is now younger than him. I always thought he was still the youngest Ozeki, but he's actually I think 27. He's going to turn 28 in about a week in early August. And that's still pretty young. I think he'll do Takayasu, Shodai, Mitakayumi, what a lot of them have done. Tochinoshin did it, when they lose their Ozeki rank, they go down into the rank and file and they just keep wrestling. Because what else does he know how to do? That's his life. That's what he's dedicated his time and energies to for many years now. And he can still be very successful at it and make quite a bit of money and still have status. But I don't think he'll ever be an Ozeki again. But yeah, yeah. If Teru doesn't win, I mean, that is sort of a weird, not condemnation, but a weird indication of where we're at in sumo because he should, right? I mean, he's the Yokozuna. He's had this win buffer. Yes, he had a bad match today against Takanosho, or a very good match for Takanosho, and but he should regroup and win tomorrow. And like I said, even if he loses to Kotozakura and Takanosho wins, he still has another shot at Takanosho in a playoff. So he'd have to lose twice tomorrow. I just don't see that happening. Okay. Some people are saying Takakeisho is going to retire. It'll be very interesting to find out. Kirishima talked to the press about his demotion and was sort of more stoic about it, and claimed and made the claim that I will be an Ozeki again, from what I read. So we'll have to see. Jason, have you thought that if and when you move back to the U.S., you will have a hard time watching sumo? Yeah, I mean, I'm worried about it, to be honest. There's some new channel, TV, not TV Japan. The thing they were talking about on Tachia, and I want to hear more feedback about that. But yeah, I think I've told you guys that one of the things I might try to do after I leave Japan is get a job on a cruise ship. So I want to be that guy that's like runs the trivia night and gives the lectures on the ports that you're stopping in, and is kind of like in charge of light entertainment and pub trivia and things like that. Because I'm not married, have no kids, and I don't know that I want to teach in America. So the idea of getting to travel as I get older, and just, yeah, and have people enjoy their time sailing, really appeals to me. So I don't know how I'll watch sumo if that becomes my life. But if any of you know anybody that works in the cruise industry, I have no idea how to start. It's going to be at least a year before I'm even thinking about that. I've already signed up to stay one more year at my school because the kids who I teach now are going to be 12th graders, and so they really want me to stay and be their homeroom teacher when they graduate next year, and I appreciate that. So I will definitely be here until at least April of 2026. So, but after that, I know I've said this a few times, but I really do think that'll be it. That'll be 10 years too at my current school, and it feels like that'll be enough. But anyway, we'll see. All right. Yeah, I think it would be a shock to my system, Alex, if I taught in American schools. Not only the kids, and their attitudes, but parents. I don't really see the thing that I get as a foreign teacher is I have a partner. He's awesome. He's my homeroom teacher, Japanese, partner, Mr. Kayano, and he is a cool dude. And we, because we have some students that do all their classes in Japanese in the IB program, and then the 10 that I'm kind of shepherding that do it all in English. And he, though, interfaces with the parents. Like when we have parent teacher conferences, every now and then I get involved, but it's mostly him. And luckily, my group, the parents aren't so bad, but you hear stories, believe me. And I know in America it's supposed to be even worse. So yeah, I don't know if I would have the constitution, because I'm already 55, and I'm not getting younger to deal with all that. But anyway, yeah, the neck injury for Takakeisho is concerning. All right, Jim Kelly's remembered for losing 4 Super Bowls, not being in 4 bowls. That's how I see Takakeisho. Well, Orlando, that's true. He was never Yokozuna, but he has won championships. The person that you'd have to look at and go, gosh, darn, they were a great Ozeki, and he never even won a Yusho, and that's Takayasu. And that's why we all, I think, root so hard for him when he's doing well, to try to get him to win a U show because he deserves one, but he still has never won one. And Taka Keisho, at least has hoisted that Emperor's Cup how many times? Twice, maybe three. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, yeah. I mean, if your neck is hurting and keeping you from doing, because he has a very particular style of sumo. If he can't do his style of sumo, then yeah, maybe it's time to hang it up. I mean, your body should tell you, and there's no shame in that. But I wouldn't be surprised. I think he'll definitely won't retire now. He'll try to get 10 wins in September, unless he just knows that it's not going to happen because of what's going on with his body. But I think he'll show up in September trying to get 10. Um, yeah, Baby Boo. I don't know. The next Yokozuna. People were saying Onosato. I think they're rushing the gun a little bit there. Takakeisha was one for you show. See, Tube Wings backing me up. Thanks, Tube Wings. Yeah, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. You know, you could go down the list. There's a lot of wrestlers who have been really famous, important, popular, who never won for you show. So, I mean, I remember when I came into sumo, and one of the Ozeki was a guy named Kaio, and he was just legendary, and he won all his U show. I think he won four as well before I started kind of watching, and then he just kind of hung on year after year during the Asashoru Hakuho days. And I was always like, why do people like really respect him? But he was because he had really strutted his stuff early on, and then he just never was able to win another one later on. Um, yeah, he is small. Takakeisho, he is too heavy. But there you go. What were we talking about? Good point on Takayasu. Yeah. Oh, who'll be the next Yokozuna? Yeah, I was thinking Kotozakura. Kirishima was talked about. I mean, remember when he was on a rope run and then that all fell apart? So it's hard to say. Um, if Kotozakura wins a Yusho um, anytime soon, people will definitely start saying, "Oh, is this it? Is he going to win another one back to back and become a Yokozuna?" Um, it doesn't look like he's quite ready yet to be a Yokozuna. Like he has that kind of like show up for work every basho and be the Yokozuna. You know what I mean? Um, let him be an Ozeki for a little while, perhaps. Hoshoru, people talk about him if he can stay healthy. So we have candidates. We just have to see. Asanoyama was going to become the next Yokozuna, and that's not going to happen now. Poor guy. And Wakataka Kage is coming back up, but soon, because we're gonna maybe need one in 2025. I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to watch. Yeah. JSA wants Onosato. Yeah, they want anybody Japanese. I think they'd be very happy with Kotozakura as well. Yeah, you could just see in his face when he lost that match the other day, knowing that he wasn't going to be an Ozeki anymore and how it hit him. That's got to be rough. Yeah, yeah. So Shane's got some more information there on Takakeisho's medical problems. Yeah, and I mean, if that's happening, because he's been wrestling for a long time, maybe it's time to hang it up. Yeah. Apocalypse 34. I have been good, man. How have you been doing? So it is 11:48 p.m. and I appreciate everybody coming by. I've been enjoying doing the Sumo Summary Show. I've only missed one. Obviously, I'll do it tomorrow night. And then I am going to America on Wednesday the 31st. So I'll do a wrap-up show, but I feel bad because I want to, the contest, give away prizes, but I might not have any time to go out and mail out those prizes before I leave, and then I'll be gone for 3 weeks. So, but anyway, we'll talk about that. But I probably will do a wrap up. I'll probably wait hear what the fallout is on Monday, maybe look at who's getting promoted, who's getting demoted, and then do it on Tuesday the 30th and just put it up. And it won't be as maybe comprehensive as if I waited until I usually wait a whole week to do the wrap up show so I can kind of hear any of the scuttlebutt that's coming out of the bus show. But and one of the big prizes for one of the winners is coming from Jeff at buysumotickets.com. So the awesome Tegata prize. So some people can get their prizes, and yeah, so we'll see. And I'm going to give away some prizes over on Patreon too. Kind of clean out the closet a little bit. But I don't know if I'm going to go to Fukuoka this year. It might be the first time I skip it. I'm spending so much money, guys, because of the exchange rate on this flight and everything going back to America for the summer. I might have to cool it on some of my other traveling here in Japan for the rest of the year, but we'll see. All right. Let me get some last comments in before I hang it up this evening. Chad, hey, thanks for coming by. Yeah, no worries, man. Easily ignored. I hope you enjoyed chatting sumo. Oh yeah, Roberto, that's a good point. I meant to mention that. There was a guy in one of the lower divisions who, yeah, it looks like maybe he had a concussion. But luckily now the medical team were right there. They put him on a stretcher and they took him off to the hospital. I do want to get an update on his status. So I'm going to check on Twitter. That's where I first heard about it because I don't watch the lower divisions below Juryo. And somebody posted about it on there and I retweeted it. So I'll try to find out some more information. The Patreon plus YouTube format is working well. Thank you, Grimbeard. I appreciate that. Enho 6-1. That's true. Yeah. So hopefully that wasn't just a one-time thing to like keep himself like on the books. Hopefully he's going to keep wrestling and come back in September, and he'll be in the 5th tier division and do well again. I mean, he should be winning down there. He's so skilled. Yeah. Well, even if Taka doesn't retire Iceman, he's going to be a Sekewake. So we're only going to have Kotozakura and Hoshoru. And then, yeah, if Terano Fuji retires, it will be weird. It's been a long time. It's been the 90s, I think, was the last time we had no Yokozuna for a little while. That was back in the Akebono days. And it lasted about 5 bus show, I think, maybe 7 bus show. I can't remember. Shane, thanks, man. Yeah, I hate flying all the way to America from here just because I'm such a large human. But I actually don't mind planes. But yeah, it's just a long day. It's a long day. Any word on Hoshoru's injury? No, Alex, I haven't heard more. That's usually kind of comes out after the basho ends. I mean, I know it's a hip injury, but I think he'll be back in September. I don't think it's that serious. Colin, nope, I'm not. I was just talking about that. I'm not going back to the United States. I'm working at least one more year at my job here, so it'll be at least 2026. So sumo fans, if they don't come for me on Patreon, you will have access to sumo for at least another year and a half, and me talking about sumo for all of 2025 and the rest of this year at least. Hoshoru got a hip injury, yeah. So if there's no Yokozuna, then no Doyohiri. No Yokozuna Doyohiri. We always have all the guys come out and circle and do the bonsai. And but yeah, you only get a Yokozuna with the big rope on and everything if there is one competing. So that's right. The Ozeki don't get to do that. That is a Yokozuna privilege for sure. So okay, I think that'll just about do it for me. Thank you so much for watching the Sumo Summary Show. And yeah, we are kind of used to not seeing the Yoko. That's why I put it up on Patreon. In fact, I taped it one day when they showed a good chunk of it on my pre-recorded program. But anyway, thanks. Obviously, everyone's going to watch tomorrow. I'll be back doing this tomorrow night. It's fun to do it live here with you guys because you guys ask great questions and back me up on stuff I don't know. So yeah, I will enjoy my trip to the U.S. And so check me out tomorrow night for the final summary, and then, like I said, probably a wrap up video on Tuesday, and then we'll look forward to the September tournament back in Tokyo at the Kokugikon. But I like the fact that this one's going to be exciting tomorrow. We won't know until the final match of the day. Thanks to everybody going by, giving the thumbs up. And yeah, 55 minutes. All right. See you guys. Take care. Bye.